answering your questions about retirement. It's Money Talk with Michael Eastham.
I'm 56 and plan to work until I'm 67, so I have my 401k invested in a 2032 fund at work. I currently have $250,000 in my 401k. I earn $65,000 a year and contribute up to my employer's match of 6%. Do I need to do anything else, or is that going to be diversified enough?
Well, with 11 years before you plan to retire, you're just on the outside of what I'd refer to as that retirement red zone. In other words, that time period where you definitely need to start looking at your investments a little bit differently. But let me explain a little bit about your 2032 fund that you're in. That's something called a target date fund. And what that means is that it's kind of engineered so that the closer you get to the year 2032, the lower the risk, so to speak, in that fund. In other words, it shifts away from stocks and more towards bond funds. But you do need to be very careful about that, because stock funds and bond funds are really very, very similar. People think that just because you're in a bond fund, that means you're going to have lower risk. Well, that's generally the case. But all it really means is that when the stock market drops by, say, 50%, your bond fund may only drop by 35%. The problem is you still are down 35%, and if you need income from that bond fund, generally you're going to end up having to sell shares. And selling shares when you're 35% down is still going to cause you to liquidate principal too early. So, as I said, you're just outside that retirement red zone, but depending on what your goals are, depending on your risk tolerance, you may want to start looking at your allocation now so that you prepare more for retirement in 11 years. And that could involve you using some different types of investment vehicles that generate interest and dividends, whether they're individual bonds or preferred stocks, other bond-like instruments, things that are designed to pay interest and dividends. Why? Because not only are you 11 years away from retirement, but in that 11-year time period, you could increase your income systematically on over the next 10 years and have a dramatically higher amount of income in 11 years when you do actually cross that threshold into retirement, just because you're reinvesting dividends into more income generating securities. That's how you magically, if you will, generate more income later than you have right now. Now, if you know what your goals are and you're a little more aggressive, then you do have a little bit more time to play in the stock market, so to speak, and take a little more risk. But it all depends on what your income needs are, what your goals are, and what the picture might look like when you get to retirement age. I sure hope that helps. Thanks again for that question, and I'd love to chat more with you to see if we can help you sort it all out.
If you've got a financial question you'd like to have answered, click on the link below to submit your question. You may hear your answer on an upcoming edition of Money Talk.